Hello, I'm Mahana. This is Change Your Funk to Fun. And this episode today is how to break free from the perfectionist trap. Woohoo! Welcome aboard on here. We are going to be riding on a train here, that's for sure. And the gift here is if you might have aspects of being a perfectionist, you might want to listen to this talk, that's for sure. And the gift is by the end of the show, I'll be offering some tools and some beautiful things that can help you with totally transforming these things within you, so that at the highest level, you are going to be able to return back to your love, back to your centeredness again, instead of all this perfectionist stuff that you might be doing in your life and having going on with you. So, hey, so the good thing is here, do you know some people that are kind of like perfectionists? And then do you have aspects of you that might be a bit of like a perfectionist? Okay, I know I sure did, definitely, growing up here. And it's a huge one that I have been learning how to let go of and to transform and to, change within myself, so that I can love myself, feel safe here, flow, and be in a state of accepting and loving and adapting for things that are happen. And I didn't used to be like that, that's for sure. And at the end of the talk too, we'll be talking about like we talked about the tools that can help you. I know for myself, 15 years ago, I was introduced to a tool called Psyche. Yes, Psyche is amazing. If you haven't heard about it, you definitely want to take a look at it and look into it and find the tools that work for you. And for some people, breath work may be beautiful, even sound bath healing, therapy for some people too, a good someone to really talk with. And it's important for us to find tools that can help us, find things that can greatly assist us now. That's for sure. So with Psyche was massive for me. I am a certified Psyche instructor, so I'm one of the 30 instructors across the world that teach this, which is awesome. And we'll talk more about that at the end of the show. And I help people on one-on-one sessions. But the gift with Psyche was that it helped me first. So that's the whole point. And if you haven't noticed, a lot of changes happen in our lives here. Can you admit that? That's for sure. We are going through a massive transformational gateway, an absolutely massive one. And hey, today's a full moon today in Sagittarius. So yay, let your light shine, right? But yeah, we're going through some changes. Have you noticed the world has kind of changed? Have you noticed a lot of things have changed? Especially since 2020, right? And it's going to continue, that's for sure. The gift is that it's actually for us. Believe it or not, it actually is. Because the gift is to actually go within ourselves. This is where the sweet spot is. This is where everything can change, is when you can actually go within yourself, help yourself, assist yourself at the emotional, mental, energetic, spiritual bodies within you. And then that can help you with your physical body issues, if you're having any of those, or relationships issues, financial issues, challenges, yucky stuff in your life. And thank goodness there have been some beautiful scientists out there that are doing tons of research, and then beautiful spiritual people too. The combination of the two is that spirit and science are meant to come together now, work together in a oneness, yes, within ourselves, that's for sure. And with that, it is that Dr. Bruce Lipton is amazing cell biologist. There's also Dr. Greg Braden, who's amazing, Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love these. They're like the three amigos, right? And with them, they have taught about epigenetics. That actually we were taught for many, many years that it's our genes that control everything. So then that people are victims to whatever health conditions that your family has, that you might get to, or things like that, or even just family patterns that people have, with how they act, how they behave, stuff like that. So included in that is that perfectionist part, because if you have a parent who might have been like a perfectionist, like your mom or your dad, I know my dad definitely was more of that perfectionist mentality, it greatly affected me. And it may have greatly affected you too. Or it could be even siblings, but most often a mother or a father. So check in, ask yourself, wow, did I have a parent that was like a perfectionist? And what that means is, what happens is our first 7 years of life, and this is what these scientists have helped us realize, is that our cell membranes, every aspect of us, 50 trillion cells that we have, respond to our environment all the time. And if we were in a lot of chaos or fear, or it wasn't, you didn't know how people were going to respond, and we end up interpreting within our own selves, our little brains and our little children bodies, interpretations of what we believe is happening, and then we create what we think is our truth, or we think is what is true, but it's not. It's actually can be distorted. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that in a little bit. But we created these things. So if you might have had a parent and you might have embodied some things just like I did, it's okay, jump on board, because we can identify what these are, and if you can admit to them, and if you are ready for the changes. That's the biggest piece. You have to make sure you're going to step into your personal power, step into your decision-making gift that you have, and that's your free will choice. If you say, you know what, I think I'm tired of being a perfectionist. Ooh, I kind of being way too hard on myself, way too controlling, that's for sure, or having to have things be a certain way that has to be a certain way all the time. Do you have any of these tendencies at all? I know, especially like I said with me, I certainly did before I learned Psyche. Psyche actually was a tool that helped me change these programs and these perceptions and fears and all kinds of limitations that I embodied in my younger years, so that we can expand and become more free and live more in the present. So that's going to be the biggest gift, moving from perfectionism to presence. And then in the middle way may be progress. You may let yourself have some progress, which means can you be aware? Can you pay attention? Can you notice things? And can you catch them? Can you catch them? And if you can catch them, and then when you have beautiful tools like Psyche, and then I'm actually going to be creating, I'm actually in the process of creating an online course called Find Your Sacred Way. We'll talk more about that at the end of the talk here too. So you find your way. I love that. I love to say that. And you have a sacred way within you. Yes, you do. So the gift is you can find your way here. So if you are feeling like you you put too much pressure on yourself, you're too critical with yourself, nothing is ever good enough. Nothing can ever meet that high bar that you might have put up for yourself. I know I certainly had a high bar. My dad was the one that had the high bar, and I tried to always measure up to his bar, which I could never do. And that really gets kind of wally world within your own self. And then what I ended up doing is I embodied these beliefs that I'm not good enough. There must be something wrong with me. And that's been my challenge throughout my life. It's been the gift actually for me, because now that I can recognize that that's what I agreed to be limited by within my own self, and that I actually created that within my own self, I can change it now. And that's the gift. You can change these things. Yes, you can. Once you do recognize the power that you are, and that's the biggest gift you can give yourself. If you can just imagine you are a divine being here, you have great power. You are the co-creator of your life, and if you can admit that you're actually creating everything that's happening in your life, even the yucky, crappy parts, yeah. The gift here is you can change it. If you created that crappy stuff, you can actually create the really good stuff. And what a gift you can give yourself by doing that. What a gift. What a gift. And perfectionism is a big one. I mean, a lot of times we will distort it and we won't even call it what it really is. It just might be like, oh yeah, he's just hard on himself, or she's just hard on herself, or she just has very high standards. She just likes things to be exactly how they have to be. And, we come up with these conclusions about stuff. But if it's okay, if we can just kind of admit it might be a little perfectionist trap that we got caught into. And what that means, if we can offer, and with great compassion, because I know for myself, diving into this and discovering, like, what is this about, that I have to have things be so perfect all the time. And it has to be a certain way, otherwise I get the anxiety, the wig out that can happen. Is that within myself, my own inner child part of me needed to feel safe. It didn't feel very safe and very much growing up. So that perfectionism it felt like it could be that illusion to bring that safety in. And it actually doesn't, though. It actually makes things even harder and more into burnout and more exhaustion and even more anxiety. But we don't know that. We don't realize it. And then, we do especially what our parents do. If your parents were like that too, and you embody their same beliefs and patterns, then that they might have just received that as a gift from your parents, like I did. And it's okay, because this lifetime we're choosing to end it, we're choosing to change it, we're choosing to be in our full divine magical beautiful selves. You are divine, you are magical, you are beautiful. And to land back into just accepting, when we can get to the point where we can accept, we can be, we can play, we can laugh, we can have fun, we can, oh wow, isn't that interesting? Instead of, oh no, black and white, this is right, this is wrong. Rigidness and control, things like that. That's just survival coping skills that many of us had to embody in order to survive here. And hey, good job. You survived so far. Yes, you did. Yes, yes, yes. And now, would you like to get out of just surviving? And that's the biggest gift you can give yourself. And start thriving, start blossoming. And how you do that, how you break free from the perfectionist trap, is by welcoming yourself, to go within yourself, noticing what are you feeling, what are you thinking, what are the actions you're doing that you would like to change, that you don't want to do anymore. Would you like to take down that bar, that super high perfectionist bar that you never ever get to, ever, 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 ever? Yeah, which really is like, actually excruciating, for all of us. Would you like to readjust? So these are things you're going to be able to do for yourself, and be able to open up and be in a new way. And a huge part is connecting back to who you really are. You're not even this perfectionist, you can call it syndrome aspect of you. It's just a behavior that you embody. And you can change your behaviors. You can change your way of being. You can change how you treat yourself and begin to lovingly start to respond in new ways. And what a gift. So let yourself invite yourself to say, okay, I choose to change perfectionism into presence. And just by that decision alone is going to start opening up new doorways for you. And what a gift that is for you. Absolute gift. And we want to invite you to that. And it is going to take some internal transformation, some internal work to do. This isn't just like, okay, I'm going to like my finger and then poof, everything gonna change. No, actually, you gotta actually go within, admit some things, make some changes, shift some stuff, and then go let yourself go, become, and be in a new way. And what a gift that is for you. Yes. And you can say, yes, I'm gonna break free from this perfectionist trap. And instead, the most important part is, what do you want instead of that, instead of having to be a perfectionist? And then that's what we will be talking about shortly here too, is what is it providing for you? Because once you can recognize how that apparent perfectionism was actually bringing you stuff, and then you can start rectifying and putting things in new ways for you. And what a gift you can give yourself for that. Absolutely. Because you can, and we welcome you to it. Oh my goodness, so good. Ooh, so let's talk about the roots of perfectionism. Where did they come from? How do they end up birthing within you and show up, as how you are behaving or acting or responding in life? And then the gift will be what we will be talking about in a little bit later, then, is what you can do to break free of it, to actually transform and change and let that go, let that aspect of you go. Because the gift is, you'll feel better. You will be more joyful, more at peace, more centered, and more in the presence. And that is the gift, to allow yourself to be in the presence. So with the roots of perfectionism comes with our cultural upbringings, our cultural societal pressures. Many of us, and then also including that, is family pressure. So how you were raised in your family and in your society and culture can greatly affect you. I know I'm in America here, and in America it is where we were taught to get out there and work hard and gut it out. I know my parents definitely taught us that, which I'm grateful for. I mean, yes, well, some of us can be afraid of thinking that we're lazy if we're not into this perfectionist thing, but then that's just, we're going to be talking about these distortions. We can distort a lot of things. But yes, ask yourself, were you raised to work hard, and then were you taught things like things that have to be hard, or they're just difficult, or you just got to do what you got to do, be extremely self-reliant? I was taught to be very, very self-reliant, and it brought me out of balance. And so the gift comes in is when you can bring yourself back into balance again. Because I've had a hard time receiving, and now I'm learning how to receive and receive greatly. It's a massive transformation and change, and I welcome you to it too. Yeah, because if you're over self-reliant, you're having to do everything yourself, and having everything to be just perfect, everything has to be just perfect. The roots with that is a lot of our culture was raised in a lot of fear of threat, fear of being hurt, and fear of even lack and scarcity with the Depression age, or fear of not having enough. And then many of us got embodied those beliefs that thinking, no, I'm not good enough, or I'm there must be something flawed in me, or there's something wrong in me because of this flawed part, then when we try and do all we can to be that perfectionist instead. So then we get driven to prove our worth. And a lot of it comes down to our own self-worth, or just remembrance of who we are. We did agree to have a veil, so that does affect things, where we forget who we really are. Because at the highest level, you are divine love and light. You are so perfectly made in every possible way that you don't have to achieve in order to become perfect. You are perfectly made. And it's actually in the imperfections of what our life experiences are about, of where we get to grow, where we get to learn, where we get to expand, where we get to find the humor in things. And can we lighten up? Can we forgive ourselves? So these are huge pieces. Can we let things go? And can we open our hearts? A lot of us will close off our hearts and be all up in our mind, with our perfectionists, looking for the threats, or looking for, or, someone believing, creating these distorted beliefs of that, oh, people can't be trust, we can't trust people, or we can't do this, or we can't do that. Those are just cognitive distortions. And they're based on, because of our 7 years of life, if we had fears or chaos or uncertainty, or we didn't feel that we were guided in true unconditional love of our family, unconditionally loving us just as we are, then we can circle around into having this perfectionist trap, where I'll be loved when I do this, or if I achieve this, or if I become this, or I should do this. You get into I should be, and you're trying to please everybody else in the outside world to fit in, to feel safe, to feel included, to feel loved. And the gift comes in is that you can actually make these changes right within you. Yes, with the gift of Psyche and the gift of Find Your Sacred Way, both are beautiful complements for each other. And you can find your way too, but these are the tools that I've used, and I help hundreds and hundreds of people with using them, is that you get to just go in and upgrade your subconscious mind, and you get to release things and recenter yourself back, open your channels again of your true essence of who you are, and really dissolve that veil and remember again. And a lot of it, this is that remembering. Can you remember again? Can you just, because we all have this knowingness within us. Yes. It doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be so difficult, or we don't have to be pushing and making things happen. That's getting out of balance of the masculine and feminine within us. We have a masculine and feminine within both of us, whether we're man or women. I know for me as a woman, I like to let my feminine lead, and that's huge. I wasn't taught that, because we were raised in the patriarchal age where my masculine had to lead, but I'm learning with the gift of Psyche and Find Your Sacred Way to actually let this equalize, and you can do that too, which will then be huge, because then we don't have to have so much pressure on ourselves. What about, could you imagine, if you feel like, yes, there's things you want to accomplish, absolutely. We are meant to share our gifts. We're meant to create things here. We're meant to take care of ourselves. That's very important, absolutely. But could you imagine, instead of the pushing or the actually super high bar, or perfectionist and just driven and fear of failure, that's a big one with the perfectionist. We're so afraid of being imperfect and what will happen if I don't get everything all perfectly done. It's this just illusion to fear, right? Could you imagine actually allowing yourself to just pause, close your eyes, open up time for yourself? You can start journaling, which is huge too. And with the gift of Psyche, you learn how to upgrade your subconscious mind in your new way. So you literally get to dream again. You get to connect in how you would like to be instead of feeling like that. So if there's aspects within you, which many of us have, that don't feel safe here, that don't feel truly loved, unconditionally loved and accepted here, right? And then feel like we have to prove ourselves. We have to, in order to get love, in order to be included, we have to accomplish things or be successful, prove our worthiness, prove of the value of who we are. And the gift is you don't have to prove anything. And then what a gift when you can actually go within, make these changes within you at the subconscious level, which is absolutely huge, because that's everything that's running all of our behaviors and actions is based with all the recordings in the subconscious mind. You can upgrade that. You can literally change that. And with Psyche and even Find Your Sacred Way, they're fast and effective. So you get right to it. And then, it may end up being a gateway of forgiveness for yourself, and then definitely letting go, and then just letting yourself dream again. Can you imagine yourself? Wow, I would love to live where I can live in synchronicity and flow, live in harmony within myself and with all my relationships. And then what can I do so I can do that? And one, change those beliefs. That's one of the biggest things you can do. And then start making new changes. Become more conscious of how you'd like to be. And then catch yourself if you think you are, that perfectionist stuff starts swinging back around again, right? Notice it and then just stop. And just say, yeah, nope. You can even tell it to stop. Yeah, stop. I'm going to choose a new ways. How about I be present instead? And then connect into your heart and connect in to say, what feels right for me? What feels right for me to be doing right now, or being right now, or offering right now, or creating right now? And let yourself be moved by what gets you excited, what gets you passionate, what can you connect back to your love again? When you can connect back to your love and let that energy, that love and that joy and those creations, it's a brand new way of being. And this is what we are inspired to aspire each one of you to begin to want and to desire to live in this way instead of the old way. The old way was banked on fear and on this. Oh yeah, you're not good enough and you're not this and blah, blah, blah. That's all made up. It's all made up. It was in the Pisces age. We are in the Aquarian age now. Hey, and just let your self decide. So yeah, you know what? I'm going to change. I'm going to begin to let myself go from any kind of perfectionist thing. And then what you can do to help yourself with that is start letting yourself, do some goofy, nutty stuff and like, hey, take a risk. Get on out there, right? I was actually just in a relationship for about 3 months and then it like all of a sudden broke off really fast. And like I said, I'd rather love than have never loved at all. And yeah, I was a little bit of imperfection there, that's for sure, because, hey, he broke up with me. And that can hurt, right? You're like, what the heck? And then, of course, our internal talk is like, what's wrong with me? My insecurities came up, and then even fear of abandonment and rejection. And then the gift is, because I have these beautiful, powerful tools, is I went within myself. And I definitely felt it. I let myself feel all of that. And then I began to reconnect with my love within myself. And that it's okay. It's okay if somebody breaks up with me. It's okay if I'm living as a single woman now, or even that in this world is like, oh my gosh, why aren't you with a partner? Or, you're supposed to be, my whole family has partners and, they're in relationships with people. So I'm like the new one that says, how about I just let myself have time for me and just do the things I like to do and be free in that way. So how funny is that? Because I've been assisting myself to shift from this perfectionist trap mentality into presence, into just what feels right for me. And then I know from that relationship that I grew so much through it that the next, partner relationship I'll be a part of, because I do love relationships, be someone who's secure in himself, who loves deep intimacy like I do, instead of being afraid of intimacy. People don't even know what they have that might be triggering within them, I guess, until you get into relationships. And then that's what life's about. We're meant to be living here. We're meant to fully be living here. Can you be living where you can be open-hearted, where you can recognize stuff's going on, be true to yourself, and just say, yeah, this doesn't feel right. Let me check in with myself, how this feels, and then I'll let you know, what I would like to do in this situation or how things are going. And let yourself be moved by your heart and what feels right for you in your presence, right? Instead of these old patterns that many of us are still running within ourselves of this perfectionist, or it has to be a certain way, like a black, white. Instead of, how about things can be lots of colors? It can be very interesting. And we always have a choice. You can always choose your love. You can always connect back to the centeredness within you, and then just accept, okay, so this kind of was crappy, but guess what? I choose to learn from it. So there you go. You're going to be using things within yourself to help yourself totally blossom instead of just staying stuck attempting to survive. So yes, you may have embodied this perfectionist mentality based on your culture that you were in, with so much pressure of having to be successful, having to be a certain way, and not even being able to go within yourself and just checking in with how you want things to be, or how you would like it to be, or maybe even at your own pace. Maybe you were pushed and rushed with that. And you may have had family major effects on you, like a mother or father or siblings or caregivers that might have already been very perfectionist driven too. And many of that, then that means you might have embodied those fears, or the fear of failing, or the of just making up for that feeling of mind, even feeling flawed at the subconscious level. And you may not even know you have this at the subconscious level. I didn't even know I had any of this, actually. It was just as I kept growing in my own personal transformation, I began to realize that it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be in that perfectionist stuff. It may attempt to feel like it's controlling things, and that could bring safety. That's the reason why it shows up. But that even that doesn't feel good, and you never actually get it. You never arrive. And then you're perpetually always trying to reach that perfectionist weight. And then that gets exhausting. And it can affect you with your health, your relationships, and even in your finances. So the gift is, if you think you might have a little bit of the perfectionist stuff, it's great to start being proactive about it. One, admit it. When you can admit it, you can do something about it. And then decide, say, you know what, I would like to transform that. I would like to change that. I would like to be in a new way. I would love to be more present, connected into my heart center. Being, accepting, allowing, flowing, even surrendering, forgiving, yes. And then that's the gift you'll be able to do for yourself, because now you get to begin to start looking for the good. Because a lot of times with perfectionism, they're looking for the things that aren't right just yet, because it's just not right. And then you're always fixing, always attempting to achieve, always attempting to do more, always attempting to, but all that extra pressure. What about if you just start looking for the good? Do the opposite. And say, wow, how can I begin to see the good within my own self? Even write a little list. What are the good qualities you like about yourself? And the good things that are in your life. Begin to start noticing the good. Whoa, so huge. The next one is, can you redefine things within yourself? And ask, is this really true? That's a big question to ask yourself. And you can even close your eyes, connect in. Is this really true? Or is it just out of fear, or just out of how I've been or how I was programmed? Super huge. And even with failures, okay, so the worst scenario, if it doesn't succeed or you don't do well, what's the worst? What are you most afraid of? Get right to it. And then with the gift of Psyche, you can transform your perception of that fear. And that's what I love about Psyche, is that you can get in there within a couple minutes, boop, now you're back to your peace, your non-attachment, and you've transmuted that fear. So good. What a gift. And with Find Your Sacred Way, you learn mechanisms that you get to access sacred centers within you and return back to your true essence, your love, your full essence of who you are. And find ways that work for you. Because redefining things is super huge. And it's okay. It's okay to admit it. It's okay to be however you are. You're doing the best you can. Each one of us are. And learning to love ourselves, that's that unconditional love. Can you unconditionally love yourself even when things aren't going so great? And definitely fears or even shame and guilt might come in. There's definitely denser emotions that definitely we all have been embodied with, and we're here to clean it out. And that's the biggest gift that we get to do. Yes. So the third thing you can do is to open up to more self-compassion for yourself. So compassion is beautiful, because that's being in community with any suffering that you've been in, which means you can engulf yourself in love, unconditional love, and be okay if it's just you're not feeling good, or it's just hard, or it's just you're overachieving, you just want to be successful, but it's just not happening, and you're getting that negative self-talk, or that negative criticism, or that black and white, narrow focus, perfectionism, survival mentality. Perfectionism is a survival mentality. And the gift is you get to leave that land and begin to get on off sailing into blossoming, flourishing. Yes, abundantly growing, allowing yourself. Can you open your mind, open your heart, and become and be in a new way? And what a gift, because you can. It's all in a decision. That's all it takes. It's just to decide. And that all that's needed for that is just some courage and willingness. You just have to decide with the courage and the willingness, and you'll be amazed the changes that you can do. Yay. So there's this Dr. Kirsten Neff, talks about 3 elements. And a big one with that one is that self-kindness. And how kind are you? Are you kind with yourself? Because usually with that perfectionist mentality, we're not very kind to ourselves at all. Not at all. So just invite kindness in. Invite kindness in. And just open up to say, okay, how can I adjust myself and be in a new way? What a gift that can be. And even just common humanity is your second element, that there's just common sense. And you have a knowingness within you. Connect into that knowingness. Absolutely. And the third is just mindfulness, which just means becoming more aware. Become more aware of how you're reacting, how you're responding, and when you're getting triggered, when that perfectionist mentality kind of surfaces up again, you can just notice it and then just stop, pause, breathe, be present. And you'll be amazed and say, hey, can I make a new choice? And what a gift that is. And with Psyche and Find Your Sacred Way, you can actually upgrade your subconscious mind so that you can even more naturally begin to respond in new ways, which makes things a lot easier, by the way. That's for sure. Oh, and can you expose yourself? This would be the fifth thing you can do. Can you expose yourself to imperfections? Well, like let yourself go mess up. Like let yourself just go take a leap. In fact, I recently did that. I took a big leap with parkour and I made a leap, but I missed the bar and I crashed down and I sprained my ankle pretty hard. And I'm like, oh man, but the gift is I took the leap. It's okay to be imperfect. And that whole experience, these last 2 weeks, I've been on crutches and limping around and did not like it at all. I was definitely an imperfection. That's for sure. It didn't feel good either. But the gift is that because I like to connect in with myself. Okay, what is this here for me for? Everything is on purpose. Everything is here for you. And if you can look for the good, like we talked about, have that self-compassion, let yourself redefine things, you'll be amazed. And for me, it was like, I had to open up to receive, to actually slow down, to pause, to love myself, even when I injure myself. How about that one? Because there's a bit of imperfection there. That's for sure. And guess what? My body's healing. Yes, it is. Beautifully. And I have so many friends and loved ones that have been helping me. And that's the gift of life. Gift of imperfection is when one of us beings is being very imperfect, that's for sure. The other, it helps raise other people that other people love to help and support and do. And so we all are here to help raise each other up. And what a gift that is. So yeah, there you go. My imperfection with my ankle definitely helped me super greatly with that. And then can you get comfortable with discomfort? Ooh, that's an interesting one, right? Yeah, most people don't like discomfort, that's for sure. What if discomfort is just allowing you to make a new change, to increase your comfort in a new way? Oh, could you imagine that? Yeah. Subconsciously, man, we're just like, heck no, we're going to stay in comfort zone. What's familiar, what we know all the time, right? But then that's just staying stuck. That's just staying in the old way. And this is the time of transformation. This is the time of ascension. This is the time for you to wake up into your highest levels of you. Oh, which means we might be getting in some discomforts in order to do that. And what can you handle that? And then allow that to let you grow. Let yourself be in a new way that you couldn't be before. Because now you're going to have new experiences. And even with my ankle, with the discomfort with that, yes, it did. It allowed me to fully connect in trusting my body heals, trusting to receive all the assistance that I've been getting. And what a gift. I'm so blown away. Even just let yourself breathe with that discomfort and still choose, hey, yes, I still have the courage to make a new change. Even when it is through discomfort many times that you can break free. Yes, and break free from the perfectionism. That's for sure. All right, number 6. Create a new safety for yourself, because the original safety might have been with being a perfectionist. That was where your subconscious and the scared part of you, that's for sure, felt like it had to be safe with that perfectionist stuff. What if the new safety could be in presence? What? Yeah, and with Psyche, we call the secondary gains that you get to actually, because it actually is serving in some way, that you can shift it and grab that benefit you have and put it in your new way. And then you embody it at the subconscious level, and then, whoa, oh my goodness. So now my new safety is being present, and that actually is mine now. I'm like, yes, because with being present, I get to just be. I get to quiet this mind. I get to be in my heart and in my body and do what feels right for me. And by doing what feels right is going to give me the best optimal outcome possible, because it's from my true essence. And then when you can begin to trust this and let this grow in this, you'll be amazed at that old way of being, of that perfectionist stuff. Some will be like, wow, it almost felt like a whole nother lifetime ago. Because it's way more fun to actually be in presence and trust and do and feel what feels right, and do it in balance. And so it's not this so super high charging going. Yes, definitely put yourself out there. Great thing. Give your all. Can you do it just from your joy, from love, just because you want to serve and you want to share your gifts? What a gift that is. And life becomes way nicer. Instead of the perfectionist where you have to do it in order to prove your self-worth until you can prove you're safer that way. And it's just a harsher, more challenging way of living. And you get to have your free will choice of how you would love to be. And this is what we are inviting you into. You got this. This is such a gift for us to clear out any of that perfectionist mentality and just bring in our true essence mentality. So that's what the presence is about, is your true essence. The true essence of the true love and light that you are, the natural gifts that you're meant to share with the world, opening up that creativity. Because when you can narrow down the perfectionism and just open up time, let your time give a break without feeling guilty. How about you just stop and just be? And in that beingness, you'll be amazed the new ideas that can come up, or an easier way, a smarter way of working instead of a harder, forcing, charging way. And this is the gift, because the feminine's coming in to equalize with the masculine right now, and that's the gift that we're doing, is we're living smarter and more fun and freer instead of just the hardcore, hard way that we have all been so programmed to do. And then can you let yourself have feedback? So if you do get some constructive criticism from people and things like that, instead of, like, I know for me, I would feel so judged, or what's wrong with me, and then even plug myself down or get defensive. How about, oh wow, thank you for sharing that. I know even recently, two of my sisters mentioned that they felt like I was being loud, because a lot of times my joy will get so high it'll kind of trigger people. And so I had a really good talk with my sister earlier today, and I appreciate it. I'm like, thank you for letting me know, because that's a bit of more of my presence. I think even in my perfectionism of loving joy so much, I want to share with everyone, and then I'm way too far. So now it's another piece of being in the presence, and now I'm just going to let my own joy be within me, and then I'll gently learn how to offer it and share it with others so that other people can become more comfortable. So we're learning this. Every day is a new journey. It's such a gift. The thing is, go let yourself mess up. Like, prefer trap. I can just say it really goofy and funny. And then can you laugh at yourself? Oh, what? That's a very good check-in with you. If you do say something funny or slip it or send an email that it got messed up, it's okay to not be perfect. That's the whole biggest message here. It's actually in the imperfections that we get to grow, we get to laugh at ourselves, we get to love at ourselves. Yeah, we get to be human. Our human parts of us is our imperfection parts of us. And they're beautiful. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And may you begin to unconsciously love yourself in all of your imperfections. Relax more with that perfectionist syndrome or tendencies that you might have been raised in. And begin to invite yourself to be in a new way. What a beautiful gift you can give yourself. So I want to ask a question, and you can connect in and find the answer, is who would you be if you weren't a perfectionist? So ask yourself, who would I be if I wasn't a perfectionist? Whoa. For some people it might be, I don't even know. I have no idea, because I just have to have it. Like, it's almost so much of a security blanket that they just have to do it. So can you just imagine what it would be like if you weren't like that? How would you be in a new way if you didn't have to have things be so perfect all the time, or have that control, or for that safety net? Can you imagine just feeling open, present, loving, joyful, welcoming, relaxing, trusting, free? And that's what we're here to invite you into. And it is you. That's your true essence. That's your natural state. That's actually who you really are at the highest level of divinity. That's for sure. And then we come to earth and we create all these beliefs and all these constructed viewpoints and distortions of what we think life is and how things are, and all this, especially having things to be perfect. Because God knows we don't want to be lazy, right? But it's like, lazy is an assumption that people bring. Yes, we definitely want to create things, and we want to be successful and have a good life, and totally. But remember to get back to the balance. Be good with yourself. Be kind with yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. Can you become your new best friend? Can you look for the good within yourself and others? To allow yourself to love yourself even in your imperfections. Let yourself do imperfection things. And can you laugh about it? These are the gifts that we're offering for you. You can redefine things. You can readjust things. You get a whole new moment, a whole new day, every new day. And the biggest piece is, how would you like to feel? And how would you like to view yourself? Can you view yourself with unconditional love eyes? And what a gift that is when you can do that, when you can connect into the true love of who you are. Let yourself just love you exactly as you are. Oh, even become your own self-parent. And I know a lot of us are doing that now, and that's okay. Our parents just did the best they could. They didn't have the tools that we get to have now. You can have some tools. And so what we'd highly recommend is to go learn some of these tools. You can go to my website, mahanasacredway.com, and click in. I also offer private sessions, so you can have one-on-one sessions. I love helping people. It's such a joy for me because I've helped so much within myself these last 15 years. I know this works. So I know I can assess people that are ready for the changes. So you have to be ready for the change. You have to take that courage and that willingness and have that self-commitment within yourself to say, yeah, you know what, I do want to make the changes. As long as you're willing to do that, whammo, you're going to be amazed the changes you can make, and you'll be like, whoa, and then how fast it is. And with the gift of Psyche, it's a beautiful tool that is absolutely amazing. And then I have been receiving spiritual downloads, creating this new template called Find Your Sacred Way. So whatever you get, you're going to be getting my spiritual giftings for you with these beautiful tools that you have. And I also teach this. So if you'd like to come learn this, you can use it for yourself. And what a powerful tool you can give yourself. I'm actually teaching this weekend. So you'd have to sign up by tomorrow, though, because it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday online. You can learn Psyche online. And also I'm teaching it in August too. And my website will have all that information. If you want to come in person and learn this with Psyche, you can definitely do that. The end of July, I'll be in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. August, I'll be in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And in September, I'll be Chicago and then Grand Rapids, Michigan. So check and see if the in-person is right for you. The online could be right for you, or just starting with some private sessions is absolutely huge. And then look into August 20th, get your spot for Find Your Sacred Way if you're ready to open up those gateways within your true essence, your divinity within you, and really have some beautiful, powerful tools that help you with clearing out those old programs like perfectionist trap and inserting your new way of your presence, your love, your grace for yourself, all this beautifulness. You get to do this. It's time. You have everything going for you. We have everything here, so much support, so much open doors here. It's all in your free will choice to say yes to yourself, and we welcome you to that. So you have a beautiful day today, and until we connect again, aho.